How terrible would it be if all the pain that you went through, the pain from your past, the pain from relationships, the pain from failure, whatever it is, how terrible would it be if all that pain meant nothing? If you just went through it just because you went through it and it had no value to your life, it didn't have value to your loved ones, and in the end, it meant nothing, it was for nothing, and you would be remembered for nothing. That would be absolutely freaking terrible. And we have the option. We have that as an option. We can choose that all of the pain, every bad thing that happened to us, everything that we persevered through, everything would mean absolutely nothing. We have the choice to choose that. It means that we also have the choice to turn that pain into purpose, to make it mean something. Now, whether you want to call it depression or anything else, what men are struggling with most right now is despair. Is despair. This dark, empty void. Despair is the feeling that there's no hope. For me, for what I'm doing, there's no hope. Despair is the pain that I don't have an identity and I don't have a direction. I don't know who I am and I don't know how I'm supposed to live. That's despair. Despair is the feelings and the thoughts that are convincing you that you don't have what it takes to accomplish the things that are on your heart to do. Despair is that feeling, that conviction that you're going to fail. And now I'm here today to tell you that not only can you overcome despair, but you can take all of this pain and you could turn it into purpose, into fuel, into aggression, into motivation to change, to be way more for your family, to give way more than you ever thought you could, and achieve more in life. But to get there, we've got to kind of break this despair thing down. Now, first of all, look, despair is not from, I feel like my head's crooked. It's kind of freaking me out. Weird. Okay, whatever. Despair is not from your trauma. Right? You might feel hopeless. You might feel like you don't have an identity. You don't know who you are. You don't know how to live. You feel like you're going to fail. You don't have confidence. You might feel like that comes from your broken home. You might feel like that's actually coming from your dad not teaching you how to be a man, your mom being abusive and manipulative, from leaders failing you, from any sort of that trauma. It's not from that trauma. The despair is not coming from the trauma. The despair is not coming from childhood experiences. Right? It's not coming from the heartaches, the letdowns, the failures that you have encountered and experienced along the way in your life. Despair is when pain means nothing. When it serves no purpose. Right? Which is funny because I opened up talking about how we have the choice to either let our pain mean nothing or to let our pain turn into something. But you are in a place of despair right now. Any moment where we are in despair, where we feel hopeless, we don't know who we are, we don't know where we're going, we feel like we're going to fail, that despair, whenever we find ourselves on the backside of despair, it is because we have allowed our pain to mean nothing. This is something that we get to choose to do. Right now, you can have pain, you can have trauma. You can have heartache from the childhood, from parents, from other people, from anything, from yourself, all of it. You can have heartache, trauma, pain from all of those things, but despair does not come from those things. Despair only comes from the pain not having a meaning, and you are the only one who can give the pain a meaning. You are the only one who can decide this pain is not for nothing. This pain means something. So we have to give the pain purpose. We got to make the pain mean something. All of this hurt, I have to direct it and turn it into a purpose. And purpose is something that we create in the moment to give meaning to our life and our story in a way that benefits others. That's purpose. Purpose is not this grandiose destination. It's not like the climax of the movie. It's not any of that. Purpose is momentary, moment to moment. Purpose, again, I'm going to read it again. Purpose is something that we create in the moment to give meaning to our life and our story in a way that is beneficial to others. That's purpose, right? So you don't have spare because of the things that you went through. You have despair. I said spare. You don't have spare. You don't have despair, not because of what you went through, but because in the moment that you are facing the pain, you are not letting that experience and that story become something beneficial for somebody else. Because it's not beneficial for somebody else, it doesn't have a meaning, and that's where despair comes from. Okay, the despair. Again, it's easy to believe that it came from the trauma. We're going to just draw this out because at the end of this video, I want you to be empowered to go back to your life as a powerful man for your wife, for your children, for your community. I want to make sure this is abundantly clear so that I can help you the best way possible. All right. So we think it's from the trauma. We think it's from failure. We think it's from childhood. I'm just going to put child H. Again, you guys, it's not true. We have despair because we have not taken the pain and turned it into a story that benefits somebody else. Good for others. Okay? It's not from all that dark stuff in your past. The despair comes from the pain not being turned into a story that is good for somebody else. That is 100% it. This is why people who have very, very big whys, right? They know what they're doing. They know what they're going through. They know who it's for. They can endure incredible things and not be dismayed by the pain, not be overcome by the pain, not find themselves in a place of despair despite great amount of torment. They could be going through a living hell and still not be disparaging, still not be in despair because they're turning that story of the pain into something that's beneficial for somebody else. This is absolutely imperative that we as men understand this, because if we don't understand this, we go back empty-handed to our wives and children. In fact, it's worse than empty-handed. If we do not turn our despair into a story or our pain into a story that's good for others, guess what we're going to do? We are going to take good things from others so that we can have a story that numbs our pain. Either we are taking our pain and turning it into a story that is good for somebody else, or we are taking from somebody else to tell ourselves a story that numbs the pain. When dads overreact, they are stressed out from work, right? They got cut off in traffic. They feel like a failure because they got busted by their boss or something. And they get frustrated with their daughters and they raise their voice and they bark. Instead of telling themselves, hey, the pain that I'm feeling right now, the story of this pain is that life happens. My value doesn't come from my job. Nobody dictates that except for God. My family is the most important thing to me. I'm going to go be with my family. I'm going to release this. I'm going to go be with my family. Nope. Instead, he is taking something from his daughter by putting his frustration on her so that he can numb his pain. You know what I'm talking about. Every single time that you've overreacted at somebody, if you haven't handled it correctly at the end, you usually feel like a little bit better, right? This is why assholes just continue to act like assholes. So let's get into the meat of this. This is all about the refiner's fire, the process of purifying gold. When they take a piece of gold from the earth, there are all sorts of other metals, impure metals, inside that chunk of gold. They have to smelt the gold. They have to melt it down with high heat over a long period of time. The higher the heat and the longer it's over the heat, that gold is going to liquefy and it's going to push all of those impure metals to the top, and then it'll be gently scraped. All of that filth, all the impure metals will be gently scraped from the top. And now, if you think of your pain, you think of the things that you have gone through, the things that have broken your heart, whether it's your failure, childhood, parents, anything, all of that pain in life, the delay, all of it is so that your heart can be put in a refiner's fire so that the impurities can come out. That's it. Everything that you have gone through and that you are going through is for character development and proving that you're trustworthy. It is for increasing your moral fortitude, your virtue, your true strength, and to prove that you can be trusted. Do you really want what you say you want? And can you be trusted with it if it was given to you? That is it. All of the pain that you have gone through is that, right? Now, guess what? If we could take that pain and the story is, hey, this is so I can become a better man, so that I could give more to my family, that is going to change the way that I live because it's altering my expectations, and then it's going to alter my behavior. Again, this is about character development, and this is about you proving that you can be trusted. To be trustworthy and to develop your character, you have to turn your pain into purpose. You have to create purpose from your pain. And I'm going to give you 3 ways to do it right now. Okay. So how do we turn our pain into purpose? 3 ways. The first one, the purpose of the pain is to remove impurities, primarily self-focus. The purpose of what you are going through is to remove the impurity of you focusing on yourself. Now think about it. The majority of your life and your struggle has been about your pain. How many times have you talked about my pain and my hurt and my struggle? But I this and me that and my this and my that. How much of your life is revolved around this? Especially when you're hurting. I can't play with you right now, sweetheart, because I'm not feeling good, because I'm tired. I have to sit in the bathroom for hours on end looking at my phone because I don't feel like I have what it takes for life. It's self-focus, okay? Turning the pain into purpose means that your self-focus has to be removed from your heart. These pity parties, feeling sorry for yourself, like you're the only one that came from a broken home, like you're the only guy ever that was overwhelmed with life. All the pity and all the feeling sorry for yourself, all it's doing is it's blocking your faith, it's blocking your duty, and it's blocking your service to others. Because you cannot believe good, strong things and focus on yourself at the same time, okay? You cannot be responsible to the people who look to you and feel sorry for yourself at the same time. Okay, you cannot put others in front of yourself if you have prioritized your own little feelings and your own struggles. You can't. So what do you do? If the purpose of the pain is to remove the impurity of self-focus from your life, what you need to do is stop letting your momentary pain take you out of permanent relationships. When you find yourself inside that whirlwind, the thoughts and the feelings are riling up. Who can you love right now? Who can you love right now? Who can you call and affirm? Who can you thank? Who can you touch? Who can you show affection to? All of that. What do the people who love you need from you right now? And then go do that thing. Remove the self-focus from your life. That is how you turn pain into purpose, number one. Number two, removing the limitations, primarily fear and self-doubt. The first one was removing the impurity of self-focus. The second way to turn pain into purpose is to remove the limitation of fear and doubt. God created me. The creator of the universe spoke me into existence. He is with me at all times. I have entered a covenant with him because I gave my life to his son. So why would he not be with me? And if I'm doubting myself, I'm actually doubting him. So self-doubt is a sin. No wonder life is fucking painful right now. I'm not even believing in me, which means I'm not even believing in what God has given me, which means I'm not even believing in God. This limitation of fear and self-focus has to be removed because God knows who he called you to be. He knows what he created you to do, and he's trying to get you there, and you cannot get there if you're afraid and doubting yourself. So what do? To remove the limitation of fear and doubt, which is going to turn pain into purpose, you have to immediately do whatever that thing is that the pain is preventing you from doing, right? Sometimes for me, right now, that's responding to a message with a potential client because I'm still like, ooh, I don't know if I have what it takes, blah, 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 like an idiot. But then I have that fear. And so I can turn that pain into purpose in that moment by just sending the message. Just send the message, right? When I feel like I'm worthless and I'm not good for my family, I'm letting my family down. Guess what? My kids don't care. They just want their dad. They just want you. Your kids just want their dad. Stop letting your pain rob your children of their father, okay? Remove the limitation of letting your pain rob your children of their dad. Go and do immediately the thing that the fear and the pain is stopping you from doing. The third way to create purpose from the pain is to remove mediocrity. Primarily inconsistency and laziness, right? And the funny thing is, before we get into this, if you look at all of these, right? If you look at self-focus, okay, you look at fear and self-doubt, you look at laziness and inconsistency, most of the fucking pain in your life is coming from one of these three things or a combination of them. All of the pain that we experience in life is because of one of these three things. Or sorry, not the pain, the despair and the torment. We can have pain from other things, but the pain from other things gets worse if I'm only focused on myself. The pain from other things gets way worse if I let it make me afraid of doing what I feel like I'm called to do. The pain from anything else gets way worse when I allow it to keep me from taking action, which is laziness and inconsistency. I could start to work up on something and then I might get discouraged, and so I stop working on it. Okay, that's impurity. The pain is trying to push that and drive that out of my heart so that I am not lazy or inconsistent anymore. And again, this is so I can be trusted with more, so I can prove that I'm valuable in all areas of my life. God has more for you, but he cannot trust it to you until you prove that you're faithful, right? He who is faithful with a little will be trusted with much. Right now, all you got to be faithful with is just getting through this pain with your responsibilities and your relationships intact. That's it. Mediocre people are less valuable in all areas of life. Lazy people are less valuable in all areas of life. There is no part of your life or any relationship you have or any goal you have where being lazy and being mediocre and being inconsistent is going to make you an asset. In all areas of life, they make us a liability. When we are inconsistent, when we are lazy, when we are mediocre, we are a liability. We are putting other people at risk. Always. This is black and white. There is no gray about this one. So what do? We have to answer the call of the continual striving unto greatness, unto virtue and discipline. Sip mental adversity and physical adversity every single day. Sip mental adversity and physical adversity every single day. This is going to remove your laziness and it's going to remove your inconsistency. It's going to remove your fear. It's going to remove your self-doubt. It's going to take your focus off of you. To say yes to the pain and embrace it. Embrace it, to let it happen. This is the only way. Mentally, you can sip adversity mentally by choosing to think and believe in spite of the pain you're feeling. You're feeling worthless. Okay, I'm not going to believe I'm worthless. I'm going to work to resist that in my mind. I'm afraid. I'm going to work to not be afraid in my mind. Physically, you have to condition your body. You have to be working out. You have to be doing hard things to your body on purpose so that you can teach your emotions that they are not the boss. You're the boss. Your life is worth living. Do not waste it being mediocre, focusing on yourself, or being afraid. You don't have to be any of those three things. You can if you want. You can if you want. And if you decide that you want to be mediocre, you want to be lazy and inconsistent, you want to be terrified and doubting yourself, and you want to just focus on your own little pities and your own little pains, if that's what you want your life to be about, fine. Go ahead and get out of the way so men like me can lead your family in your stead. Get out of the way so your wife can find another man to love her passionately. Get out of the way so your children can find another man to lead them strongly. You have that choice. So make your fucking choice.